Hello, this is, that's probably very squeaky, but whatever. Hello, this is a video that I'm making for one of my pupils who needs to learn key signatures, and I figured I'd just kind of have a go at putting something together here. So, what we'll typically find when we're getting to grade 5 theory is that we need to know all of our key signatures going from 1 sharp to 6 sharps. Ta-da! And we need to know what those are called in the same way that we'll need to know what they are if they are in minor. And we'll also have to, if they are using flats, and we'll also have to know our relative minors for those. We'll also have to be aware of a couple of things to do with sharpening leading notes. A leading note is the 7th note of a scale. And then we're going to be working out how we can actually work out what key a piece of music it is in from the notes which are presented to us. Okay, so we're going to kick off with just a couple of things that we need to be aware of. So, first of all, music will typically have what is called a key signature, which is a set of sharps or flats at the beginning, and that is going to tell us what key our piece of music is in, typically. And there is always an order to these sharps. So, for example, 3 sharps will look like this. Notice the fact that 4 sharps will just add to that. Notice the fact that 5 sharps will just add to that as well. So even though it might just look like a bunch of random symbols, they are always in the same order. And the order is going from a special set of words. It is Father Charles goes down and ends battle. That is the order of sharps. So what am I even chatting about? If we, for example, took 7 sharps, which we don't care about at grade 5 theory, but it's still good to know. F, C, G, D, A, E, B. Father Charles goes down and ends battle. Okay, so this is a super useful thing for us to be aware of. And just while we're talking about Father Charles, exactly the same thing is true backwards if we're talking about the flats. Battle ends and down goes Charles's father. B, E, A, D, G, C, F. Flat. Useful for us to be aware of. Okay, so that's the kind of first thing. So if ever we see like a mass of them, so like I just have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and I know it's Father Charles goes down, and that's F, C, G, D, F, C, G, D. Okay, it's just that kind of thing. As long as we know Father Charles goes down, then that actually, like, we can work out what those notes actually are. Obviously, we can actually read them as well. So the first thing we have to be aware of is how we find out what key we're actually in. And for sharps, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the last sharp in the key sig and go up by 1 semitone. And that is it. So for example, in this instance, we look at the last sharp, which is going to be this fellow here. I'm selecting all of them, but I mean to show I can't actually do it. It's this one. So it's a D sharp, and we go up by 1 semitone from D sharp, which gets us the note E. And so that means that this is going to be an E major, okay? If we had 1 sharp, then the last sharp would be F sharp, because that's the only sharp that's there. And we're going to go up by 1 semitone, so 1 sharp is going to be G major, for example. Okay, so quick thing then. Let's just try and do this very quickly. Let's imagine we're in 1/4 time for funsies. Do. Okay, and we're going to do this. This is in G. In fact, I'm going to hide this because we can. Ta-da. Just quick. I'm just getting sidetracked, but we're just going to hide these signposts as well. Cool. And we don't actually need that bar. Okay. 2 sharps, 3 sharps, 4 sharps, 5 sharps, 6 sharps. All right. And this, using our incredible logic of looking at the last sharp and going up by 1, is going to be G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, okay? And that is very useful for us to be aware of. Okay, and I'll in fact just put them here so we've got them. So G, G, F, G, D, A, E, B, F sharp. All right, this is going up to 6 sharps, and that's what we need for when we're doing grade 5 theory. Very neurotically, I'm just going to get rid of the word piano at the beginning of those lines because it just takes up a white space for us. And again, remember that the order of these sharps, the sharps themselves, goes F, C, G, D, A, E sharp, which is the words Father Charles goes down and ends battle. So order of sharps equals Father Charles goes down and ends battle. To find the key, go to last sharp and go down, go up by 1 semitone. So that means that the opposite of that, to find the key sig, go down from the root note. So for example, if you're in G, the root note is G, so you'd go down by 1 semitone, which will get you to F sharp, and go down from the root note, work through Father Charles. So what I mean by that, let's just do a little bit of rearranging. What's the best way to do this? It's like, you know what? That's really funny. Just having a little syntax issue. We'll just put it here. Okay, so if we need to find our key, we go from the root note and then we work through Father Charles. So for example, if I knew that I was in D major, I'd go down by 1 semitone from D to get to C sharp, and that would then I'd go through till I get C. So Father Charles would get me to that. And so I would know that it's only 2 steps along the way. I had one other thought on this. The last sharp is always the leading note of the major scale. So the leading note, leading note equals 7th note of scale. Always 1 semitone away from the root. First note of scale. Okay, so let's just move this down. Cool. All right, so the last sharp is always the leading note of the major scale. So for example, the last sharp here is G, G sharp, etc., etc. All right, going to go through flats, which is a little bit funny, but we've got to think through this. We're going to think through our flats. And what's really interesting is that the order of flats is exactly the opposite sentence. It goes battle ends and down goes Charles's father, which I think is an amazing bit of logic there. So we're going to do exactly the same thing we just did. We're going to make a whole bunch of bars of 1, 4. We're going to go 1F. In fact, sorry. So going to do that. I'm going to go 2F. This is just like shorthand for making the flats. 3F. 4F. 5F. And then very finally 6. Because we're only going to go up to 6 because that's all we actually care about for grade 5-3. Minus, like, whatever. We don't care. All right. Let's just copy and paste this because we're going to do the same format. Okay, and that's off that time. Cool. So, order of flats equals battle ends and down goes Charles's father. Okay, so to find the key for this, what we actually do is go to, in fact, I will actually get rid of the rest of this, to be honest with you. It's a bit like confusing. To find the key we're in, we actually just go to the penultimate flat of the key sig. So this is a bit strange. All that happens with the flats are the fact that we look at the key signature and we go back by 1, which is the penultimate. So for example, if we look here, we've got 2 flats. It's going to be E flat and B flat, or sorry, in order, B flat and E flat. We just go back by 1 because it's the penultimate flat. Or if we've got 3 flats, it's going to go B flat, E flat, A flat. I'm going to go just back by 1 because it's just the penultimate. Interestingly, the one we have to be aware of is if we just got 1 flat, then we just have to know this is F, which coincidentally is the first letter of the word flat. So we just kind of have to know that one flat equals F major. If 1 flat, therefore F major. Okay, just nice things for us to be aware of here. So we're going to go through this. So this is F. It's going to be B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, and G flat. I don't want to copy that bit of text. So, oh, I'm just going to. That's great. We'll just scrub this down by an octave. Great. And then we'll just put this. So F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat. Thank you. Okay. And we'll just hide this because it just looks a bit rubbish. Okay. So to find the key signature, again, this is kind of a bit weird. So you just go forward 1 flat in battle ends. So this is a bit weird. So let me just explain what I mean. If we're looking for B flat, let's do a better example. If we're looking for A flat, then what we do is we use battle ends and because we find the A flat, and then we go forward by one word, and that's going to give us all the flats we need. So B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat is going to be A flat major. If we've got E flat, the same thing. So in fact, find the flat in. Yeah, let's reword this. Find the flat in battle ends, and then go forward 1 flat. In fact, then add next flat. I think add next flat is a better way to put that. So in this instance, we're going to find the flat. So if we're looking for E flat major, then we go B flat, E flat. Oh, that's our flat that we got. So that's the second one, battle ends. And then we just go forward by 1 flat. Okay. So it can get a bit confusing. It's just one of those things we just get used to, and seeing the fact that A flat's got 4 or the E flat's got 3 or B flat's got 2 or F has got 1, just a really, really useful thing for us to be aware of. And we'll just kind of internalize this and have some kind of like tests. So if we're doing like 5 or 6 flats, we can just go, okay, if I had 2 flats, then if I can try and memorize the fact that's B flat major, then I can work it out from there. Like I can say, okay, B flat's got 2 flats, but the first flat is here, so the next flat goes to the E flat, and that's kind of how it works. And then what was the last thing I was going to do? Oh yeah, and that doesn't really apply. Cool. So that's how we work out our sharp majors and our flat majors. We then have to work out the minors. Now, just to quickly clarify, the way that we do this is that we find our root. So X root of major, and then we go down by a minor third. So what we're going to do is we're just going to show this in action. So we'll do a bar of like 4, 4. Okay. So imagine this is our root. We're going to go from here, 1 semitone down, another semitone down, and another semitone down. And this is our minor. So root of major, root of minor. Okay, and we're going to add another bar here just so we can scribble some stuff. Okay. I'm going to go to engrave just to move this across. All right, cool, cool. So what we're actually looking to do here, and let's just put this as text, to find the minor from the major, go down a minor third. And to find the major from the minor, go up a minor third. Yeah, let's just keep that as it is. So this is a minor third. So let's just define that quickly. A minor third. In fact, let's just put minor third equals 3 semitones, not including the starting note. And so if I put here 1, 2, 3. 3 semitones down. In fact, I'll put a 0 here. Okay, so we always got to remember this. If confused, the minor will always be the 6th note of the major scale. So this is a bit of a weird one, and I'm kind of a little reluctant to... I'm never really sure, but I think it's useful to be aware of. I'm just going to change this second line to be in treble clef. If we had a C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. This would be note... that gets a little confusing, but the point being that C would be the major, and if we go up to the 6th note of that scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this would be the minor. That gets a little confusing. Irritatingly, we see a little inconsistency there because this is degrees of the scale, and this includes the starting note 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But when we're counting intervals, we don't count the first note of the thing because otherwise it's 0, 1, 2, 3. So so when counting intervals, don't count starting note. When counting degrees of the scale, do count starting note. And that's super annoying. In fact, I'm going to put it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to put it... oh, no, that's fine. 6, 7, 1. Because remember that we only have 7 notes in our scale. And we're just going to put major below here and minor here. Okay? So... this is going to apply for every way that we work out a minor scale. I know this looks a bit messy, so let's do a couple other things. I know it looks messy, so let's make it messier. Okay, point being, if we say had, let's do a couple of examples. If we had A major, so A was our major, then there's 2 ways that we can work out the relative minor for it. One of them is that we go down by a minor third. So we would start on 0. We'd start on the A, and it would go A, G sharp, G, F sharp, which would get us our correct answer. He says, helpfully, forgetting where sharps are. Huh? How have I just managed to forget that? That was very odd. Anyway, point being, F sharp. Yeah, why did... Weird. So that's one way of doing it. So we went... So, what did I just say? Yeah, go down by a minor third. I mean, honestly, that's probably the best way to do it. And then the other way to do it is if you happen to think of the scale, then if you started on the first note of the scale, then it would go A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp. And so F sharp would be the 6th degree of the scale, and that's what our minor is going to be. But we might get ourselves a little confused because if we're doing it the other way around, then our minor going to major is going to be the 3rd degree of the scale. So F sharp, G sharp, A. Yeah, honestly, the more I'm thinking about this, the more I think it's better to just think of the major of the minor thirds. But it's just kind of a bit of checking. The kind of thing I would remember is the fact that C major goes to A minor. So C goes to A minor. And as long as we can remember this one example, the fact that C major is the relative major of A minor, then we can pretty much work it out because we just look at the distance between those things. Remember, C, B, B flat, A, that's a minor third. And on the way up, A, B flat, B, C. It's that kind of idea. All right. And then we're just going to really quickly talk. So we're into the last bit. And this is a thing that in minor scales, we just have to remember that minor scales, for the sake of this next exercise, we're always going to be sharpening the leading note. So if we're in A minor, which we probably know has got no sharps or flats, A, do, G, G, A. Something we have to be aware of is that the leading note, the 7th note of the scale, why am I failing to sharpen notes today? I actually don't know. So this note here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Sharpen. Okay, the 7th note is the leading note, and we just have to remember that because it's going to come up. So in minor scales, we typically, usually, sharpen the leading note. This is useful when working out if a piece of music is in major or minor. Okay, cool. So that's been quite a long video. So I'm probably going to stop. That's been a messy bit there. So let's go there. Oh yeah, I know exactly how I should fix that, but who cares? Sorry, this is really dumb. I'm finishing up this particular video while also working out how to make it slightly more orderly. Oh, or failing to do that. One or the other. Oh, entirely failing to do that. Never mind, ignore that I was trying to do anything. So yeah, we're gonna now talk about how we work out pieces of music from the notes that are given to us, and I'm gonna split that into a slightly separate video, as this is useful for us to be aware of. Okay, so this is part 1, and thank you very much for watching.